the name of the show again? Oh, it's Tya
Uh,
Talk. And I am here with I'm here with Renae Mador, my friend, my neighbor, and Tya Bootcamp graduate, Renae Mador. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
How
Nice
are
to
you?
see you. I'm doing great, actually.
Good. Good. Yeah,
Yes.
we're in Palm Springs, and the weather this time of year is just glorious. I just went outside today's water day. The water bottle guy comes, so I was putting the water bottles out and just thinking, God, it's just so perfect.
Yeah.
The weather is just so perfect out right now. Of course, we pay for that in the summertime with 100 to 120 degrees all day, every day for how many months straight?
Maybe 3. But it's funny. People tell me, they're like, well, why do you live in the heat? I said, listen, I grew up back east where it's 40 below for like 6 months. I'll take 3 months of 110 where I can go to LA, go to San Diego, visit friends, get out of the heat. So I'm fine with it. I've been here 20, 24, 25 years.
Oh wow. Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
on year 3 and I'm thinking about moving to Santa Barbara already. So.
know. We better keep a summer home here. I
Yeah,
get a winter home here.
there's a lot of things I like about the desert, so I think back and forth would be nice.
Yeah,
Be over on
best
the
of both
coast where it's a little
worlds.
cooler in the summertime, and then out here this time of year would be perfect, I think.
Make sure you have a guest room so when I come visit.
Oh, of course, of course. Excuse me. So we're here today with Renae, and Renae has been out of boot camp for 2 years.
About 2 years, yes.
Yeah, you were one of the fortunate ones that got in and got out of boot camp before COVID hit.
Yes,
You got to
thank
manage
God.
your lockdown with the Taya skills.
Thank the Lord.
Yeah. So we're going
Yeah.
to do a little follow up. 2 years out of boot camp. Just kind of chat about how things are going and how it's showing up in your life. And you have a pretty interesting, exciting life, I think. You're always around celebrities and things of that nature, but you've got your own gig going. You always have your own thing going. And when you're self employed, I believe being in alignment with abundance and being in alignment with well being is very important because
Yes.
you're not relying on someone to just issue a paycheck every other week. And I know you have to show up for a job to get all that, but being self-employed is different because there were times when I worked for other people that I knew I could coast a little bit, through a period where I wasn't doing so well, or I was rather disinterested in my work. I could coast through that and I would still have the guarantee. But once you're out and you're hustling, as long as you're hustling, you are hustling. But then when you get beyond that and you allow things to start flowing, it becomes really magical. So I'll let you talk about that.
Yes, I always tell people I'm a Jill of all trades, master of none. But I mean, as you know, living in California, taxes are high, and just relying on one job, it doesn't work. I mean, you have to have multiple little jobs that you're doing here and there. And I try to pick stuff that I'm passionate about, so it doesn't feel like work, and stuff that I love. And the reason why I had told you that I wanted to do the tire practice was because I just had that lack of money mentality. I always had friends that had a lot of money. They were doing this, they were doing that. And I always was like, oh, I can't afford it. You guys have fun. But by using the tools, the practice, and just diligently, I know I say this every time, David, but I still do your meditation, your guided meditation, the money mindset every day. And I'm a firm believer that has a lot to do with my whole I can't even talk this morning. It's early. Sorry. My whole perception of money now. It's like I don't have that lack of anymore. Instead of, if I have friends that want to do this, and I just say currently right now, it's just I don't want to spend the money on that. So it's not like I can't afford it. I just don't want to spend the money on that. I'd rather put it into my fund of buying property eventually. So it's now I'm more selective on how I spend my money. It's not lack of, this is what I choose, which has been a blessing. And it's amazing to me. I just don't have that fear anymore. And I actually had a little fund where I was putting money away. I called it my emergency fund. But I remember you said something in a talk that we did, and you said something about emergencies lack of, it's like, why would you use that as lack of? So now it's my abundance fund. It's not my emergency fund. It's my
That's
abundance
a
fund.
very different vibration when you just there's nothing wrong with putting money away. You do it
Right.
with money you want to do with it. But when you're saving for a rainy day, you're probably creating the rainy day.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
I know I've talked to a lot of people over the years that would have a windfall come in, and as soon as they have the windfall of money come in, something pops up that takes it right back away from them,
Yes.
and that's that vibration of just enough. And a lot
Exactly.
of people live in that. A whole lot of people. We think about lack, but really, what most people are experiencing is not really lack as much as it's just enough. If you believe that you're going to have a roof over your head, and you believe that you're going to have food to eat, and the basic necessities of life, if you will, you're going to attract that. You're going to
Exactly.
attract those circumstances no matter what. And that belief system is a learned belief system. Our society teaches most people that if you work for somebody else and you work hard and you study hard and you do all these things, you are going to have what is called the middle class life, where you're going to be able to live in a certain kind of house and drive a certain kind of car, and you're always going to have food, you're always going to be okay. And
Mm-hmm.
it's sort of like, for a lot of people, it's just getting by, because the things they really want to do are still out of reach, but they're always striving for them and striving for them and striving for them. Well, that creates this template, if you will, for society that most people fall right into. And it's interesting that we're talking about money now, because we've created this training in the money mindset course, and we added it to boot camp and everywhere else, called the wealth pyramid. And we talk about the spiral a lot in Tya, but a spiral is your own personal vibration. You're aware of your spiral. You're up and down your spiral. We talk about being up the spiral and down the spiral. We talk about neutral, kind of being in between. But the pyramid is different. The pyramid is all of humanity on a topic. So you can be up and down your spiral all the time, but the pyramid is more of a steady vibration. So it's more about, where are you in the wealth pyramid? Are you the billionaires at the top, or are you the completely destitute at the bottom, or are you somewhere in between? And I was on. I've done a podcast a couple of times with Truth Sika. I don't know if you've heard of Truth Sika. Truth Sika is huge, and
No.
I channeled on Truth Sika's podcast a couple of weeks ago. Then he came and did a podcast with me last week. That we're way ahead in our podcast right now, so that podcast won't come out until January of 2022. But he said something that really stuck with me. He uses the whole spiral thing also, and I have seen spirals with all of these frequencies, like megahertz frequencies. And to me, that's a little too complicated. It doesn't have to be so complicated. He
Mm-hmm.
talked about like a -10, a -20, a +10, a +20. And I think that's a great way to look at it. So I'm going to borrow his idea and start talking about the wealth pyramid in terms of, where are you in the pyramid? And I started really conversing with the stream, uh, in the book, the Tya Practice book that we're polishing up right now. And I want to add this wealth pyramid to the book with these frequencies of up to +10 being +20 being the very top, and -20 being the very bottom. And what does that look like? Well, most people are at zero, and zero is just enough, just enough, just enough, just enough. And I see people right now, a big term that's been around forever, but people are saying it more and more now, is eat the rich. We're poor. We're at the bottom of the pyramid, and we're going to eat the rich. We're going to get those rich people. We're going to get them. We're going to take their money, and they shouldn't have all that money, and we shouldn't be at the bottom of the pyramid. Everybody should have everything. But the flaw in that thinking is, you're wanting to participate in a system that you are demonizing. Think
Right.
about it. You are
Mm-hmm.
wanting to participate. You're not saying that money is bad. You're just saying that you don't have enough, and that people that have more than enough, in your opinion, are evil, and they need to be stopped, even killed. I mean, the whole idea of eat the rich is pretty low vibe if you think about it. They're wanting to murder people that have created enough, in most cases, to be at the top of the pyramid. Yeah, and yet you have people at the bottom of the pyramid that believe they deserve money just because. And I understand the mindset behind, oh, we're all human beings, we should all just be in abundance, everybody should have everything that they want. That feels good. I understand that. But we are in a system of exchange.
Mm-hmm.
We just are. That's the system that we all chose to project into. We chose this life, chose to come here. We chose to project into a system of commerce. And if if your belief system has developed into one that money is evil and everything should be free and that everybody should be exactly the same, then you're not acknowledging that we don't offer the same to humanity. So the person at the bottom of the pyramid is not offering the same offering to humanity that Jeff Bezos is offering. They're just not. And it's easy to demonize that, and I understand it. But when you start demonizing the system of commerce, you're down at the bottom of the pyramid, and you are supporting the weight of the pyramid. And you notice how many people are at the bottom of the pyramid, down in that not enough, lack. But a lot of humanity is operating at zero, though, which zero is not necessarily negative, not necessarily positive, but just enough. So it's clicking up from that just enough vibe, and then understanding that the moving up the pyramid is about learning to love the financial system, not worrying about what the 1% is doing or not doing, paying attention to your vibe and your relationship with it, and understanding that you can't demonize a system and benefit from it. Did we lose Renee? Did I talk her out of? Did I talk you out of internet connection? Deborah, it's good to see you on here. I think Renee is rebooting. Kathy from South Carolina. I think I know who this is. When you feel overwhelmed, what happens when you feel overwhelmed by what you manifest? I think that's probably a worthiness issue. The question is, what happens when you feel overwhelmed by what you manifest? Manifesting too much too fast. That can happen. We're talking about money in this episode. You hear about lottery winners who are up to speed, vibrationally aligned with winning the lottery, but they're not vibrationally aligned with being a multimillionaire. It's not the same thing. Winning the lottery is one thing, because if you've never had money or really been around people with a whole lot of money, you probably think, gosh, life is so amazing. Once you manifest millions and millions and millions of dollars, it's just going to be great. I'm going to be living on my yacht. I'm going to be just traveling by private jet wherever I want to go. I'm going to be living like a Kardashian or whatever. And you're not taking into account that level of wealth, that's a job in and of itself, just managing that. And plus, you suddenly are a target for everyone in the world that wants to target you to sell you something or try to swindle you out of your money. That's just the way humanity tends to operate. So if you aren't vibrationally aligned with being wealthy and knowing that you have the capacity to maintain the wealth, to use the wealth to do something that you truly want to do, maybe use the wealth to help the world in some way, to offer something out to humanity, you're not completely up to speed with that. It probably is going to vanish rather quickly. And we hear about that happening to lottery winners all the time. So Renee, I was talking and talking and talking, and I realized
I could hear
such a good listener, but you are frozen.
I know, I could hear you. It's my Wi-Fi. It's Spectrum. Gotta love Spectrum. It's just, of course, it never happens.
They're a sponsor of the show, Renee. So let's not trash them.
Oh, okay. Well,
the sponsor of the show is the stream.
Oh, yeah. There you go. So
yeah. So did that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
So it's if you don't have enough money coming in and you want to participate in the financial system, you got to think of it in terms of the pyramid of all of humanity, and where are you in the placement of this pyramid vibrationally? Are you loving the system of commerce? Are you loving all that is about it? Or are you in frustration? And it's very easy to dip down into frustration and fear and lack and all of that kind of thing, because what happens is money, more than any other topic, we talk about the big three all the time: relationships, health, and money, right? Mm-hmm. But money has more reminders attached to it, I think, than anything else.
I agree.
So you've got these, daily, if not monthly, if not daily reminders of not enough money, and you're trying to mentally place yourself higher and higher and higher in the pyramid without aligning with where you want to be, and truly being there and knowing, trusting that reality is going to catch up to you. So we're going to get really deep into all this. We're doing a masterclass this Saturday. It's called A New Operating System for Your Life. So I encourage everyone to sign up and take the masterclass. We do have limited space because it's not something that we're just broadcasting. You're actually in a Zoom webinar, and we're limited to so many spaces, and a lot of times those completely fill up. So you'll see the link wherever you're watching us, unless you're on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, gosh, if you're on YouTube, I'm trying to think of where to send you to get a link. I'll have to think about that. Hi, Mark. So if you're on Facebook, wherever you're watching this right now, you can you'll be able to find a link in the group, in the page of the group. You'll be able to find a link to register for Saturday's masterclass. If you're on YouTube, I have to think about where to send you to get that. I just can't think about it right now. There's a place to do it. I just don't know where. If you're on the mailing list, you definitely have links coming this week because we do have some mailings going out. So if you're on our mailing list, if you're not on our mailing list, you can go to thestreamofdavid.com, get on the mailing list. We don't sell your name or share your name with anybody. It's just our mailing list. Get on the mailing list and you will get links to be able to sign up for this masterclass. Didn't think about that. My brain's not completely functioning this morning either. So your money mindset has shifted, and that it really got you through lockdown and COVID, right?
It did. I mean, many things happened throughout COVID. I had lost 3 jobs right off in one day during COVID. So that typically I would be, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm being transparent. I freaked out for a minute, went down my spiral for probably a week, but I'm like, there's nothing you can do, Renae. Just start. So I started implementing different ways of trying to figure out how to bring money in, and of course, unemployment. But in that time, I was figuring out, what am I going to do with my life? I mean, if this happens again, what is it? So then I just started working on my mindset more. I did a lot of personal development, and that's what really kept me up my spiral during that time when everybody else and their mother was, extremely stressed out. And the thing is, with the whole COVID thing, I'm not like you. I'm not afraid of COVID. I see massage patients every day practically, and I don't have that fear like most people do. It's, to me, I'm vaccinated. I'm fine. I haven't had the flu in, knock on wood, 2 years. So the masks do help, whether it's just the general flu or what have you. But yeah, I don't have that fear. And I think when you don't have that fear, it, like you said, it creates static in the universe. When you have that fear, it's like telling the universe, bring it, keep bringing what you have fear about. So
Sure.
I don't put that out there. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm healthy. I eat well. I exercise daily. And I've never felt better about myself and more confident. I used to be shy to speak in front of people. Like if you told me I'm going to do this podcast, I would be like, oh my God, it's fine. It's like talking to a friend. You are my friend.
Easy enough, huh?
Yeah, easy enough. So yeah, a lot has changed. And I know how you say people think evil money. I never thought that, because I had a lot of friends in my life who were successful or married to successful men. And I've always had gratitude for them, and I'm just happy for them. If I have a friend who's succeeding in something that they're doing, I'm extremely happy for them. So I've never had that mindset where there's evil, with money. I never experienced that. I mean,
Yeah, there's a lot of sentiment out there now that money is evil and the people that have it are evil. They have to
yeah.
be evil to get that much money. And really, what I see is a sign of how abundance compounds itself.
Mm-hmm.
You get momentum going in a certain direction energetically, and this
Right.
works on every topic, not just money. You
Right.
get momentum going in a certain direction energetically, and all of a sudden that topic takes on a life of its own.
Exactly.
It just starts creating.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most important things, and we're going to get really deep into this on Saturday, one of the most important things to remember is that every physical manifestation is just the byproduct of the energetic creation.
Right.
And the way that we receive the byproduct is just to allow the energetic creation just to be. And what happens is, and the reason Tya works so well is because we get into vibrational flow. We all know we operate in vibrational flow. That's why you're never going to hear a Tya person show up and say, well, gosh, I'm just up all the time. My life is perfect. I am just happy and source connected. I am walking on clouds 24/7 all the time, because nobody is. We're not even here for that. And
Hmm.
Tya and the stream's teachings bring us into a very deep understanding of what vibrational flow is all about. There's a chapter in the new book called The Perfection of Imperfection. And I love that whole idea of really making peace with an understanding that we are not in a world of perfection. We're not in a world without challenges, because the challenges inspire all our creation, all of it. And we are here to create, all of us. And we're creating no matter what. Even if we were just sitting on the sofa wasting our life away, quote unquote, with a bag of potato chips and a remote control, we're creating something. We are creating in that space. We're not creating a whole lot, but we are creating something, and we're having an experience. And from our soul perspective, there's no wrong experience. So when you start thinking about creating something more intentionally, because you see human beings doing and being and having the things that we all want to do and be and have. So if you see another human being doing this, you can do the same thing. There's no reason that you can't. But it's dialing into a belief system that allows you to have that experience. And not many people allow themselves to dial into a really high vibrational belief system where you truly believe that you are limitless. But some do. And you can watch them and be frustrated, or you can watch them and be inspired. I watched the Adele, the thing she did for television.
Oh, I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that. We watched that last night, and she did the interview with Oprah. And I thought it
Yeah.
was kind of cool because she started talking about channeling. She says,
Yes.
when I sing, it's not me; it's coming from somewhere else. I'm channeling it. I'm like, oh, this is so cool.
I know. Yeah. That was
Yeah, it's like,
amazing.
okay,
Yeah.
people, plenty of people think that what I do is so weird because I'm more intentional with bringing the stream in and channeling the stream. And we have people that we talk about getting on podcasts and getting articles posted, and that's always the roadblock. Oh, channeling, that's so weird. What is that? But if Adele could sit and talk to Oprah about channeling her music, and Oprah is saying there, yeah, that's exactly what you're doing,
Yeah.
then why is it not more mainstream at this point? Think about it. Why is
Exactly.
it this weird thing that freaks everybody out that we can channel something? And I
Well, and
know when
even
I listen to the stream back, it's like, wow, everything makes sense.
yeah. Well, even Oprah too. I mean, she has a way of channeling as well. I mean, she's very inspirational. She follows a lot of the spiritual leaders like Deepak and what have you, but you see it in her everyday life. I mean, just how she is and how she's just grateful for everything, and she's someone who's filthy rich, you know. It's not evil
Yeah.
money. She does a lot of good, which is a good thing.
Well, I think it's easy to demonize money when somebody creates something that's so massive that it changes humanity.
Yeah.
That's the energy exchange in play. So it's easy to say that Bezos or Elon Musk or Zuckerberg or any of these people are evil, and that's how they got their money. I think that's kind of a cop out for everybody else to say, okay, you've got to do something evil. I don't want to be at the top of the pyramid because obviously you have to be evil to be up there. I think evil is a human construct anyway.
Hmm.
And as far as doing evil, you can look at it different ways. You can look at it, okay, there are aspects of their business that you might not like, but at the end of the day, they all of those people created something massive that changed humanity. And the
Hmm.
energy exchange for that change of humanity is billions of dollars. So making peace with it, understanding what the top of the pyramid vibration is, even if you're not completely up there, being able to access that mindset of if you create something that has great value for all of humanity, the energy exchange for that is billions of dollars. Well, guess what? Billions of dollars, that is just usually, first of all, it's stock. It's not actual wealth. And secondly, it's not what you think it is. It's not what people label as they have so much money they can just take that money and go feed all of the the homeless people in the world. In fact, Elon Musk just said that. I
Hmm.
forgot who it was. Somebody challenged him because he's got enough money to allegedly feed all the poor on the planet. But he says, if you can tell me how you're going to do that, I will give you the money. And they can't tell him how they're going
Exactly.
to do it. Because unfortunately it's more about the business that they're in, wanting to bring that money into the business, and it's more about the business. We all know that a lot of charities are a business unto themselves, and the money that actually flows through to the people that you're giving it to is pennies on the dollar, if anything, right? Hate to be cynical about that, but that tends to be.
Hmm.
So I liked his comeback. Yeah, you tell me how you're going to do that, and I'm going to give you the money. That's because when you're at the top of the pyramid, you understand that the people at the bottom of the pyramid need to vibrationally align to move themselves up the pyramid, because well-being is our natural state. It is. Well-being is our natural state. It just is.
Hmm.
But when we place ourselves at the bottom of the pyramid because we're demonizing the system of commerce, then we are the ones that are holding the well-being away from us. So it's taking an honest look about where you are vibrationally in the pyramid in relation to humanity. And I know we don't want to get too deep into comparison energy, but the purpose of this tool is to simply understand that you can't benefit from a system and hate it at the same time. You
Right.
just can't.
No.
And it's funny too, because there are so many people that want a more equitable system, and I understand that. Knowing that somebody is worth, at least in stock, 300-400 billion dollars, while there are so many people that are homeless and starving, it seems unfair. I totally understand that. But at the same time, we're in a system of exchange. I saw on Facebook the other day, there was somebody was promoting this new world order where nobody has to work for anything, ever. Everything is just going to be exchanged. And I thought, well, that's really interesting because, okay, what is your offering for the house that you live in? So you're going to ask a crew of people to
Right.
come build you a house. What are you going to offer them as an individual that's equal to them putting all of that time and effort into building a house? How is that going to work?
Exactly.
Are you going to make them a loaf of bread? Think about it. It doesn't really work that way. So we are in a system of exchange, and our currency is just a tool for this system of exchange. And currency is all an illusion anyway. There's nothing backing up currency. We all know the American dollar doesn't have anything behind it anymore. It's just we just
Right.
print more. We just print more, and then the value of the dollar goes down, and it all kind of levels out. But the idea of currency, just like Bitcoin, it's just an invention. All of this
Right. Exactly.
cryptocurrency is just here's a way to secure a serial number, essentially, that we are going to say is worth this much. But the only reason it's worth this much is because somebody believes that it is. So if you've got somebody that
Right.
believes it's worth this much and they want this type of currency, they're going to buy into it. And the more people that buy into it, the more value it gains. But as soon as they
Hmm.
decide that it's not worth so much, it plummets. It's just like the stock market. It's just
Right.
an illusion of value. Money is just an illusion. It's just an energy, always. So the idea of worrying about what somebody else's wealth is, thinking that that has something to do with yours, you're placing yourself at the bottom of the pyramid instead
So
of
true.
knowing that you're always going to be okay. What you prove to yourself, Renee, during lockdown is that you're always going to be okay. That you can
Hmm.
lose 3 jobs in a day at the beginning of the pandemic. Everything can seem dire. You can have your spin out over a week. In Tya, we talk about spin outs. And then you
Hmm.
can pick yourself back up and realize, no, and here you are 2 years later, thriving.
Right. Exactly. And I have a question for you. Why is there such intimidation on people with money? I used to feel that way, but now that I'm at a different place in my life, people with money, they don't intimidate me. I think of them as just anybody else.
Yeah.
So
Well, if
it's
you're
I don't
around
have that
people that have a lot
intimidation.
of money, if you've ever been around people that have a lot of money, that you find out they're just people. Their
Yeah,
vibration goes
exactly.
up and down. They a lot of times, I was always amazed when I used to be around some really 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 wealthy, like old money type people, and they were always stressed
Right.
about money. They love the
Exactly.
system and they placed themselves up the pyramid, but they were stressed about losing it. They had a belief system that they created for themselves that if I do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to stay up here. But they also have a belief system that if I don't watch my back, someone's going to come and take it from me. And they created that belief system, so therefore they created that reality for themselves. And their days were spent. How do we not? And I think that's where people that don't have any money can meet somebody like that and think that, okay, well, they're so evil because they're so stressed about someone taking their money. And I used to work for some very 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 wealthy people that the business that I ran for them was kind of just a tax thing, and they were very cheap. They were very very cheap. They didn't want to pay for anything. They didn't want to spend money on anything. and it would be very easy to demonize them. But I realized, because I knew this stream stuff way back then, that that's just their belief system. They have this belief system that they will maintain their money as long as they hoard it, and they will maintain their money as long as they're miserly, and that's their belief system. Because there were other wealthy people living lavish lives that probably had less money than they did, throwing it all around, and you think, gosh, they're going to spend all their money, but then what happens? More money just flows right in. There are people out there for
Exactly.
whom money just flows in no matter what. You can create a scenario for yourself where money just flows in
Yes.
no matter what you do. Money always pops up from somewhere. Everything always works out, and you know that that's the case. And then once you're playing with that belief system, you can start dialing up your belief system. But the easiest way to do it is to do it step by step by step by step, not trying to go from a negative 20 or a 0 to positive 20 instantly. A lot of people try to do that. I'm going to
Hmm.
be a billionaire. I'm going to be a billionaire. And again, we see a lottery winner that suddenly hits the jackpot, and they go from working a factory job to having $100 million. That's a huge leap up the pyramid. But are they really vibrationally aligned with then having that wealth? That's a whole different ballgame, and much more
Absolutely.
comfortable, in my opinion, to move up and move up and move up and move up rather than having this massive windfall, because you're not really up to speed with it, and you'll need to get up to speed with it very, very quickly. And it's not just about living a lavish life, it's about the job of managing that kind of wealth.
Exactly.
Are you
I
up
have
for that?
friends. Yeah, well, I am, but and I am, because now it's like I don't put the fear behind it. And like you said, people who are wealthy, I have some good friends that are, multimillionaires, and they live on their interest alone, but then they don't share a lot of it. They'll share it with their immediate family, but I always thought to myself, wow, if I had that amount of money, I would be so giving. I would, take my friends on trips and do this and that. That's just my mentality. But it's true. They probably have that fear of, oh no, we can't be spending that money, although they're
Yeah,
living on their interest alone.
you can have money and still be fearful about money, because it's not
Yes,
about a specific vibration, it's about your belief system. Your belief
right,
system creates the vibration. So if you have a belief system that you go to the right school and you get the right job and you work super hard, you're going to have X amount of money. And what I proved to myself in my own life is that I didn't have to go to school. I worked hard, but I didn't work that hard. And I remember sitting around
hmm
at parties and stuff with these people, and they would talk about how tirelessly they work, and then they would tell you about the 10 vacations they went on that year. I thought, okay, you're not really working that hard if you're on vacation like, half of every month. So
yeah,
it's that mindset. People do like to brag about how hard they work. I'm out
of
hustling,
course,
I'm grinding, I'm all the time, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then you hear about all the leisure stuff they're doing, which is, sort of that work hard, play hard mentality. And you realize you're not really working that hard. You're enjoying yourself and you're enjoying your life. And you have a belief system where you believe that any effort you put forth is working hard. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with
exactly.
that, because I proved to myself that I could earn that kind of money, making the same money as a physician that went to school for what, 12 years and was hundreds of
Hmm.
thousands of dollars in debt with a 10th grade education. I did.
Yeah,
I absolutely did. They were my neighbors. They were my friends. They were, hey, the guy next door. But because of my belief system allowed me to do that. It absolutely just
exactly,
allowed me to do that. So everything is the established belief system, and Tya is trusting your abundance. So anything you trust, anything you believe, that will become your life. And we have now hundreds of examples of people who have clicked up and up and up and up. And in Tya, we really do promote that, rather than trying to go from here to way up there. A little better, a little better, a little more clarity, a little more joy, and start that momentum going. And then what happens at some point, you can kind of let go, and the momentum will just carry you.
exactly. No, it's so true. It's with everything, just working on your health, working on just good relationships, good friendships. Yeah, it escalates if you stay in that mindset. And it has been. I mean, everything in my life has been great. I mean, relationship wise, not so much, but I'm not worried about it. I trust that it will happen
Yeah. Well, in the
eventually. In the
beginning, it's
meantime,
kind of like, you're right. It's effort in the beginning, and
hmm
Maya is very different. And a lot of people that teach law of attraction kind of get into that. Oh, there's no effort. There's effort. Well, that's what we call boot camp. Boot camp. You're going to get in. You're going to work your butt off, changing. With you learning these tools and changing your belief system. Because again, it's momentum. Think about a boulder. When you start pushing a boulder, you're really working hard to push the boulder, and then all of a sudden it starts to gain some momentum, and then the
Yes.
momentum is going to start carrying it, and then you can let go, and it's just going. So
Yes.
everything works that way. Every single topic works that way. You've got to get the momentum going. And yes, you've got to do work to get the momentum going. But once it's going, you can let go and let it just happen. To kind of go back to the question from Kathy earlier, I kind of want to circle back to that. Overwhelmed by what you manifest. I don't know specifically what she's asking there if you're still on. But it's sort of like you brought your belief system up to a speed where you were able to allow the physical fleshing out of it. Again, remember, the physical manifestation is the byproduct of the energetic creation on every topic.
Mhm.
So you got up to speed with allowing it, and it came, and then your new manifestation became overwhelming because now your belief system is wavering on it. That's the only reason it would be overwhelming, because now it's like, wow, I created all this. Holy shit. Now what? Am I worthy of this? Your vibration drops. And that can cause the unraveling. But that is part of the universal process of creation. In fact, come to the webinar, come to the masterclass on Wednesday. We're going to get deep into the universal process of creation. And you will walk away with a much deeper understanding of how that happens, of how you can manifest something. And it's sort of like we have to get over the hump to manifest in the first place of worthiness. Can I really handle this? Am I self-sabotaging? We see people self-sabotage all the time. Something starts to create, and then we self-sabotage energetically. The vibration drops. We start questioning. It unravels. And if we quit there, it falls apart, and we never do it. We're not successful. But if we keep going, the only way that we could ever fail at something is if we quit. Because if you keep going and you keep going and you keep going, then all of a sudden you have an even more perfect creation, because you kept going through all these iterations of ebb and flow. I know that might sound hard to understand right now, but on Saturday you'll understand it better in the masterclass because we spend an hour going into it, and then we spend another hour of Q&A. The Q&A is very, very, very valuable. So I know it's a Saturday, but set aside 2 hours of your Saturday to come to our masterclass. We sometimes get finished in less than 2 hours, but I always say set aside up to 2 hours, because what we find on these masterclasses, the majority of the audience stays on all the way to the end, 2 hours, because the Q&A at the end is so valuable. So make sure you set aside 2 hours and come join us live. If you sign up for the masterclass and something comes up and you can't make the live version, we do send out a replay to those who signed up. So make sure you sign up for it one way or the other. And if you can be on live, there's no higher vibe than being on the live masterclass and being able to interact in the chat, ask live questions. The coaches will be on with me. Some of the coaches, we have a lot of coaches now, so some of the coaches will be on with me, and we'll be answering your questions in real time. So getting up to speed with manifesting money is important, but let's kind of talk about the foundation that we build in boot camp in this practice of what allows you to be at peace with whatever is. And I'm talking about that foundation of clearing the transgressors, the forgiveness piece, the self-love piece, the stuff that a lot of people gloss over and go right to, I want money. If you go right to that, what you find, and what I found, is that there's never going to be enough money that's going to truly make you happy, because the money is just a tool. The happiness builds the foundation for the money to flow in more easily and for you to enjoy it more. So kind of talk about your journey as far as that goes.
Well, with that, I used to take things for granted prior to Tya. Like I have, like I said, a lot of great friends who have taken me on trips, and I would take it for granted. But now it's like every day I find little miracles throughout my day, whether it's going to Starbucks and the person in front of you pays for your coffee. To me, that's a miracle. It's a little, so I find more gratitude throughout the day, and I specifically look for it, whether it's just somebody giving me a smile, just smiling at me or saying hello. I'm grateful for every little thing in my life. And I think gratitude is huge when it comes to everything, money, relationships, health, wellness, just being in joy, complete joy. So that has been a big issue for me. And I've been focusing on that. I'm very intentional when it comes to stuff like that. I never used to be before Tya. And now I'm more intentional with my daily practice, being grateful. And when I'm down my spiral, I usually do 3 gratitudes every morning after your money mindset that I listen to, that I do my gratitudes. I do about 3, but if I'm down the spiral throughout the day, I might do 4 or 5 gratitudes. And it could be simple as my coffee I'm drinking or the beautiful weather in Palm Springs, just something simple. And every day I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to continue to do it in my gratitudes. The first thing I'm grateful for is my health, because without your health, there's nothing. So I always say I'm grateful for my health. That's the number one thing every day. That's a
That's a good one. Steve Jobs
yeah,
had all the love and adoration and ego driven accomplishments and tons of money, and still didn't make it past what 54.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
good example, and
So it's
somebody that I've
all
always been fascinated by. That and reading his. I read a couple of books about him, and he was very, 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 very obsessed with health, very obsessed with health. But reading between the lines of what I read about him, his obsession with health was more of a fear of death.
oh, see,
Think about it. If you're
yeah,
so obsessed with health that you're fearing because you're fearing death, what are you manifesting?
exactly. That's funny that you bring that up, because I was thinking about that the other day. A close friend of ours had passed away, and I thought, you know what? If I die tomorrow, I'm fine with it, because I've lived a great life. I've experienced a lot, and if I'm gone tomorrow, so be it. you know,
Yeah, I feel the
I've
same way.
kind of,
I look
yeah,
back and think, okay, gosh, I've already, my early goal in life was to not be my mother. And I surpassed that years and years and years ago, not having the life experience that she did. It was not good. And
right,
there's still things I want to accomplish, but I really, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I could really right now look back and realize that, I really had an amazing life already, but I feel like
exactly.
I have a lot of years left to have even a more amazing life. So I'm
Oh,
excited
same here.
with what comes next. Yeah. Well, for me, it's like
Exactly.
I can't wait to just share the stream more and more and more with the world.
Right.
That's my thing for the rest of my life, is just getting out there and sharing the stream. Now that we built the Thai Academy and all the tools and the coaching and all that stuff, having that just continue to expand, because I see what it does for people, and I see what
Right.
the stream does for people, and that's my life's work. So I do want to hang around to do that, but if for some reason that's not my path, then I could really look back at the life experience with gratitude. I hope everybody
Exactly.
can.
Absolutely. Gratitude is key for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and the gratitude factor is just acknowledging that our life experience is a collection of experiences that our soul came to have, and there's no wrong. There's no wrong. There's no bad. There's
Mhm.
no, oh, this shouldn't be. This was a wasted life. Source does not look at any experience as a wasted life. Source does not look at anything as evil. That's a human thing, us labeling evil, and even the things that we label as not our preference that could easily be called evil. All that is human, ego driven, low vibration activity that exists in our world, but it doesn't have to exist on the level that it does right now.
Exactly.
So understanding that, yes, humanity can improve. In fact, we're going through this big reset right now where some people think, gosh, we're awakening. It's amazing. It's the most amazing time ever, because we're questioning everything, and we're coming back around to our ability to create our lives in the way that we want them, and better and better and better. And I saw an Instagram post from a friend this morning that was, talking about how the world is just such a shit show right now. And I just thought, wow, I hate that you view the world like that, because I don't think the world's a shit show right now. I think it's amazing. I love
Mhm.
what's going on right now. I love that humanity is questioning everything, and that we have this big disruption. I'm thrilled at this technology, all the technology that we have created, and just think we're around the same age. So just think about how much technology we've created, humanity has created just in the last 20 to 30 years, that has changed so much. And yes, we can look back at the 70s and 80s, and I love the 70s and 80s a very cool time. We were just talking about Rick Springfield this morning, and
Mhm.
it was nice, but we're not going to go back to that. We've opened Pandora's box now, and we can't go back to the way it was. That was a charming time. I'm glad that I experienced it, but now that we can do things like this. The trade-off of all the technology is that we're living a different type of life. But I love the fact that we can communicate this way globally now. Think about,
Exactly.
I am on Zoom with people all over the world every day, and it's just an incredible technology that we can just click a button and boom, there we are, and we're chatting and we're sharing ideas and we're having a meeting, and we're all able to work from home now if we want to, really.
And you can be in your underwear and I wouldn't even know it.
Yeah, I'm not, but yeah. Yeah, that's true. Nobody ever sees me from here down, so that's good.
Right?
I'm just a head in a box. So
Yeah.
the cool thing about all this technology is that we have the ability to come together and communicate and use it to our advantage. And if we're addicted to it, then that's on us.
Mhm.
If we're addicted to sitting and scrolling through Facebook or whatever, or TikTok, then that's on us. We can turn that stuff off anytime that we want. We don't have to be on technology. You're giving your power away if you are blaming the technology for something that's not going right in your life. Use it as an enhancement to your life, but not something that is going to ruin your life or disconnect you from all real people or anything of that nature. You can totally put the device down.
That's interesting that you say that because I have a lot of friends that say, you don't have to get off of Facebook. It's too negative. And I'm like, well, why give power to it? Why read those posts? Bypass those posts, go to the inspirational posts. I said, I use Facebook mainly for work, and just networking
Yeah.
and so forth. And if there's something negative, I won't read it. I don't need, it's like the news. I'll watch the Today Show because it's light news. It's not the negative, constant negative, but I don't buy into that. I don't give power to politics or anything like that. Life is
Yeah,
too
I think
short. I
it's when
like to,
you give it power, that's when it drags your vibration down. If you're not giving it any power, it's just another form of entertainment, really.
yeah,
Which is
exactly.
what politics is
Exactly.
for me, because at the end of the day, whoever is in power politically isn't in control of my life. I'm in control of my life. I know
Yeah,
that my well-being can supersede any shift politically. But gosh, I see
exactly.
so many people giving that so much power, and they're so passionate about it, and it consumes them. It really consumes them. And
Yeah.
I don't see to what end, because you're right. You can get totally, and I see all these arguments. I quit going to my general feed of Facebook last year, when everyone was just losing their mind about
Yeah.
COVID and the election here in the United States and all that stuff. I just stopped doing it. I go right to my groups so that my experience is more curated. I go right into the Tya practice group, what's going on in there. I go to those groups, and that's it specifically. And if there's
Hmm.
something, you've got to watch whether you're allowing yourself to be drawn into a narrative that you don't want to be drawn into or not, and you have complete control over
Exactly.
that. You can say, "Yep, you know what? This has no power over my life. Next, next, next," or
Exactly.
put the whole device down and go outside or go meditate or go play with your pet or something. There's always something that you can do if that's dragging your vibration down. It's that stopgap of, is this worth going down my spiral over? And 99%
Exactly.
of the time, the answer is no.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, let's see if we do have some more questions here. Let me kind of.
Oh, so that
Erica's talking about radical
Facebook user.
appreciation. I love that.
Hi, Erica.
So, Facebook user, I wrote my code in boot camp and let it be. It manifested. I just feel overwhelmed by it. Be it the masterclass with regard to wealth. I found I cannot outgive the universal spirit. It just comes naturally. Relationships and health are interconnected. So, yeah, the being overwhelmed by it is just the experience that you're having. And writing the code in boot camp and seeing it manifest, that's a good thing. So many people on the planet would love to be able to do that, right? Be able to write their code, have the
And
tools
it
to allow it to manifest. Now, step two is, okay, it landed in your lap. It came into material being. So getting up to speed with it is really just the experience that you're having. Maybe you're not going to get up to speed with it. Maybe whatever it is that you manifested that seems overwhelming, now you've proven to yourself that you can manifest on that level. It's okay to let it go. and in your letting it go and not needing to hold on to it, you're probably not going to feel so overwhelmed by it. And you're probably also not going to chase it away. I think that might be part of the problem, is wanting something so bad that you get into boot camp and you write a code, it shows up, and then it shows up and you're like, oh, holy hell, what do I do now? I know how to manifest this. This is overwhelming. Whatever it is, it's, it's okay. Whatever it is just okay. It's there's nothing that you have to hammer about. And it's funny because things manifest when we put the hammer down. Typically, when you stop needing, the need will get you every single time, because the vibration of need will always be met with, yes, you need it. Yes, you need it. Yes, you need it. Yes, you need it. If you believe you need this, you're going to get more need of it. And that's what you're going to get. You're not going to get the thing that you need. You're going to get more need. So you have to remember that. All of these teachings that you need to sit and you need to manifest, you need to do affirmations every day, and you need to make this happen. You need to align with it. You need to spend at least an hour in the day. I saw some guy on TikTok the other day saying you need to spend an hour in the morning, an hour afternoon, an hour at night meditating on your thing. I thought, all right, well, let me know when one person has success with that, because that's exactly counter to how the universe works. The universe is, just think of the universe as not judging. The universe is not out there saying, oh, well, Renae deserves some money, so here's some money, Renae. If the universe were like that, everybody would have money, right? Everybody would have money. Everybody would have excellent health. Everyone would have a yacht. Everyone would have a mansion. Everyone would just have everything that they wanted. And we would actually have the big problem of too much manifestation. Everyone would be a billionaire. It would re-level the top of the pyramid. All of a sudden, having $100 billion would go back to zero, right? It would mean nothing. It would mean absolutely nothing. The universe doesn't operate like that for a reason, because we're not here to just be in abundance. We are here to have this challenging life experience of ups and downs, of obstacles. And notice how everything that we create is created in that image. Everything that we create, think about it, video games, literature, novels, everything is like that. You have something that you want, you have obstacles to overcome to receive it, you have a reward for receiving it, and then you start the cycle all over again. Every video game is like that. Every novel is like that. Every story is like that. You have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You have somebody that you care about, and they have something they desire, and then they lose it, or they don't have it, and they're trying to get it, and then they get it. And a lot of times then it unravels, right? That's the universal process of creation showing up in movies, novels, television shows, over and over and over again. I've gotten really into this show called Succession.
Oh,
Really,
you know what's so funny?
really, I love Succession. It's really
David. Well, my friend that her husband plays a keyboard for Rick Springfield, her son is a graphic designer. Her son's a graphic designer for Succession.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. See, Renae knows everybody. Knows everybody that knows everybody. So I love that show. It's very, very well written. It's funny. It's a drama, but it's also funny. It's very well written, well performed. Even the cinematography is really interesting. I watched a thing on YouTube last night just about the cinematography of the show, how they film it in a way, it's like you're in the room. So someone will be talking, and usually on a TV show, they zero in on the person that's talking. They don't do that on Succession. There may be a person standing in front of the person talking, and then the camera has to move and bring them into focus. So it's like you're in the room with them. It's a really cool experience to watch this TV show. But anyway, in Succession, they're all jockeying to take control of this multi-billion-dollar empire that their father has built, and they're all stabbing each other in the back. Trust me, it could be funny. And it's just this never-ending, you're always at the edge. The company's always on the brink of collapse. And it's interesting to us because our lives are like that. It's a reflection of our lives. Think about it. And the stream has said recently, and we'll get into this a little bit on Saturday, it's really cool that humanity is catching up to the technology that created and creates us. I know that sounds weird.
Interesting.
But yeah. Well, if you start thinking about us in terms of, we talk about writing code, and in the Tya practice, we start treating ourselves like a system, like a computer, like a robot, right? Because we do operate like that. We are absolutely designed. Our bodies are designed to experience the earth environment as human beings. We're designed. Any anatomy class, you start to look and realize, gosh, This is brilliant how our bodies function, how we're designed, how we have senses to experience this environment. It's so cool. And the operating system that we speak of is just your belief system. And we all create an operating system by default. We project into a set of parents, a set of circumstances. We start establishing preferences in the womb. Mom eats something spicy, we kick around a little bit. Hey, I don't like that. What are you doing? Or there's something that the mothers report knowing what the baby likes and what the baby doesn't even before it's born. Of course, there's a really strong bond there. And then after birth, we start establishing preferences right away. We want to be nurtured. We want to be held. We want to be taken care of. Being this new human being, we're absorbing our environment. We're learning. And it takes a few years to start this learning process going. But in this learning process, we are observing other beings up and down their spiral. Your parents were up and down their spiral. Whoever was around you as an infant, you experienced them in high and low vibration. So you experienced things that were soothing and loving, and you experienced things that were less than that, all the way to maybe traumatizing, or things that really left a mark on you early on. And then we all get into adulthood. Oh, I was so abused by my parents and they were so wrong to teach me that. But really, the stream said a long time ago, your parents were supposed to screw you up. That's the whole plan, was your parents giving you this imperfect belief system to begin operating as a human being in this imperfect world, having a reaction to your circumstances. And that's why you can have two siblings that are born very close together who have very different life experiences and very different outlooks on life. They were taught the same thing, same religion, same parents, same economic status, same education, yet they turn out so vastly different. That's because we're individuals. My brother and I grew up together, could not be more different, could not possibly be more different in our belief systems, but we both turned out okay. Mm-hmm. And we were really left to our own devices, yet we turned out okay, because there was something present that gave us our worthiness and sort of kept us in line. And that was our belief system that we established. So your human operating system is your belief system that you create for yourself. And if you grow up being told that, if you eat too much, you're going to get fat, and fat is evil, and you shouldn't be that, it's bad, you're probably going to have some sort of a eating disorder and have a body image that's tied to you being a certain size. If you grow up around a consciousness of ill health, I didn't grow up around that. And I know that I have people in my life who are constantly sick, always in the hospital, always having surgery, always on Facebook talking about what their next ailment is, and they're always sick. Mm-hmm. And I'm not like that. I'm never sick. I'm just never sick. I don't worry about it. I don't think about it. It's just not part of my life. And then you have poverty consciousness, not enough money. Money's hard to come by. That was one that I had to break out of, because I was definitely raised around that people that have money are evil. You've got to do something evil to get it. That we're never going to have enough. We're not of that class, so it's not going to happen for us. I was raised in that, and it takes a lifetime of work to fully break free of it. But you break free of it little by little by little. And the cool thing is that you can start to see it show up very quickly, very, very quickly. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be so patient with it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your post boot camp experience.
Thank you for having me.
And we have to go have coffee soon.
Yes.
Or wine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or coffee with booze in it.
Coffee, yeah.
You can do that any time of day in Palm Springs for sure. So I want to thank all of you for watching.
That is true. Happy hour starts at what, noon?
Yeah, even the bars open like at 9 here, and you see people in the bars at 9. No judgment, but yeah, you do. So I always love that. No judgment. We're saying something judgy, so you have to say that. So thank you all for your questions. Hopefully, we answered the questions that popped up. Definitely, I want to encourage you to take the masterclass on Saturday. Again, our masterclasses are open to everyone, just like this group is open to everyone, whether you're in boot camp, out of boot camp, not yet in boot camp, don't even know what the hell I'm talking about with boot camp. It's okay. It's all about learning the Tya practice, and I'm all about teaching the Tya practice to the world, regardless of the level that you're ready for at this time. So show up, register for, and show up to the masterclass. Set aside 2 hours. It will change your life. It will absolutely change your life. Renae, thank you so much for sharing. Always good to have you on.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.